Now, let's switch to a file that does not have map numbers assigned. So in my firm standards file, if I look at the working trial balance, we can see that I do not have my map numbers assigned. There's no map number associated with the chart of accounts. The map numbers may be assigned several different ways. First, in the working trial balance, and I got here by clicking on the navigation toolbar trial balance, but also through the account menu working trial balance. In the working trial balance, in the map number column, a user can either type the number in if they know it, and I'm just cursoring down here. Alternatively, they can use the drop down to select the appropriate map number and choose select, and it will bring in the properties. Now notice how the lead sheet properties for those items that I've now mapped, as well as the tax export code and any other attribute that was associated with the map number, has been applied. In Canada, we would be showing the Giphy code. Now, that's one way, not the most efficient way. But again, once selected, all related properties are assigned to the account according to the options settings that we have under Tools Options Mapping that we just looked at previously. Alternatively, and more efficiently, a user can use the Assign Mapping Numbers dialog under the Account menu, Assign Mapping Numbers. Now, in this dialog, we have a number of options available to us. We might have multiple periods available in our file, and there may be certain balances that are set to 0 in certain periods. So in order to show all of the accounts, we may want to choose different periods for mapping purposes. In the event that this was a consolidated file, we would have a second drop-down available to us, allowing us to choose which entity that we were mapping. Now, on the left-hand side, I have my unmapped accounts. So I can select an account on the left-hand side, and on my right-hand side, I have my mapping numbers, and I can select the appropriate map number to assign the account to. Both of these read short-term investments, and when I click the map button down at the bottom, it shoots that account across. Now, if I open it up, we can see the account. It is not bold, but other sub-map numbers are bold, so we can see that information coming in. Now, on top of that, visually, I like to see balances in this dialog. And I mentioned under Tools Options Mapping that there was a checkbox that allowed us to show the balances in the Assign dialog. Instead, I'm going to right-click beside the accounts and say Show Balance. Well, you may have noticed that I have other options available on the right-click menu as well. I have Show Prior Year Balance, Prior Year 2 Balance. I can show extended descriptions in here. And for the type of accounts, I can hide and show financial statement, cash flow, performance measure, and control accounts. And of course, I have the ability to reorder columns. We've also added the ability to find within these dialogues, and we can choose through unmapped accounts, mapped accounts, or anywhere, and specify what it is we're looking for. Now, I'm also going to display my prior year balance. I'd like to show both of those balances at the same time. It's a little bit too large on my map number side, but we do have a scroll bar to get back and forth. We can also resize the columns to make them easier to see. I selected a single account earlier. If we had multiple accounts going to the same map number and they were in order, I can click on the first one, shift-click on the last one, and assign them to the appropriate map number. Alternatively, if they're out of order, I can make the selections using the Control button while clicking on the items and then choosing the map number that those accounts go to and bring them across just like that. Now, there is also a flip option available to us, and several people have asked me in the past, what is this flip? What's it doing for me? CaseWare can automate when an account goes between a debit and credit balances. So, for example, due to or from shareholder, what we can do is we can set up the main account due from shareholder as an asset and put it to the appropriate asset map number. And then we can select the flip option, and it will show us those accounts again. So in this case, I've got my cash accounts assigned to cash in the normal area, but if they go into a credit balance, I may want those to be assigned to a liability, bank overdraft. And then it will recognize when the accounts go from debit to credit, credit to debit, and place the appropriate balance in the appropriate grouping. I'm going to leave flipping out of this for the rest of the presentation and continue on without that. At this point, I'm going to hit the Apply button and click OK. Now, I only added 1 or 2 new map numbers through that dialog, but that is probably one of the more efficient ways of assigning map numbers. There is, however, one more way to assign map numbers. Now, you may recall when I was in the mapping options previously under Tools, Options, Mapping, there was an auto map feature to the accounts. In order to use the auto map functionality, I need at least one of the following account properties to be previously set up: the ratio class type, the tax export code in the US, or the Giphy code in Canada. Again, the software will locate the subset of map numbers containing the same property as the account, then attempt to use word matching between the account description and the map number description to attempt to assign the most appropriate map number to the account. I'm going to click Auto Map now. It happened very quickly, and I'll click OK. So in the background, in the working trial balance, you may have noticed the properties being added to the accounts. Any account that has been auto-mapped will display a warning icon in the map number column to let the user know it is important for them to validate the map number assignment. And it reads, this account has been automatically mapped and the map number has not been verified. To verify this mapping, click on the map number field and press the verification button to the right of the map number. Now, I also like to display the map number description in the working trial balance to assist me in the validation process. To do this, I reorder my columns using the View, Reorder Columns dialog, and I select my map number description and place it beside the name of the account. Clicking OK inserts the map number description column for me. Now I can compare the descriptions to see if I'm happy with the assignment. So we've got accounts receivable. Well, we did those previously. Long-term investments is mapped to long-term investments, and placing my cursor to the right side of the map number column, we'll see the warning icon and a check mark icon will appear, allowing me to validate the map number assignment. So I can go through these and check them off one at a time as we go through, or we can do a quick scan and check them all. Now when I get down to account number 600, I notice that the map number does not correspond to the account. So I'm going to delete that, and it removes the map information. Now, I'm going to fix that momentarily, but all the other map numbers are okay, so I'm going to just select the column by right-clicking on the column heading and selecting Select Column, and then check any one of the validation check marks. Now, to finish with this mapping, because at this point most of my accounts are mapped, I want to complete this, so I'll return to the Account Assign Mapping Numbers dialog. Notice that the majority of the accounts have been assigned at this point. The one that I unassigned is on the left-hand side, so I'll just scroll down to the appropriate map number, gains and losses on disposal, and this time I'm going to drag and drop it. So not only do we have the button to click, but we can drag and drop it. Now these are split up accounts, and I can choose to map them if I want, but they're not really going to affect me in this situation. If you want to get these balances into your notes, it's probably a good idea to select appropriate map numbers for them. To apply my changes, I can hit Apply and it will save my change, or I can click OK and it will save my change and get me out of the Assign Mapping Number dialog. Now it's important to note that all the map number assignments will be carried forward on a year-end close roll forward. So after you import the accounts for the new year, only new accounts would appear on the left-hand side because all the other accounts had been mapped in a previous year. Simply drag the new accounts across to the appropriate map number and continue. Now, because I've mapped my chart of accounts, all the accounts are being pushed out to the various predefined reports of the template file that were used to create this file. And that takes us back to the document manager. Now these reports might be driven by lead sheet, they might be driven by map number, they might be driven by ratio class code, any of the attributes that was associated with the map number that were applied to the accounts. As a matter of fact, I can even drag a financial statement document in from one of my templates, and the statement will end up getting populated simply because I've assigned the mapping numbers to the accounts. Because it's being driven by the mapping number assignments instead of focusing on the client's unique set of accounts. So I just dragged the case view documents from my financial reports and the control documents in here. If I open up the financial report case view document, it's going to take a moment to load up, and it typically loads up on my left-hand screen And it even recognizes that there's more information available to be driven into that financial statement. So as it opens up, I'm going to just bring it across as soon as I'm able. And here I have a financial statement that I just dropped into this file because it came from a template and it was linked by map numbers. It's already populated. Now we're seeing a lot of the controls of the financial statement here, but if I hit a print preview, we get a nice clean looking financial statement. If you don't care for the font face, font size, bold, italics, underline, justification, etc., that is all formattable within the financials template, but that's beyond the scope of what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to close the financial statement and just let you know that by assigning map numbers to a file that did not have map numbers and bringing in a financial statement driven by map numbers, we have a very, very nice product.